Rafael Grossi will visit Kyiv. We can't wait for that. Of course, second topic, Ukrainian cyber intelligence hacked Russian Gazprom as a way to mark a specific anniversary. Let me tell you what's about that exactly. And a Blitz interview with Tibor Tompa, head of the Hungarian community Kyiv. We discuss Orban, Fico, and the cost for any country to rely on pro-Russian populists. Good afternoon, my name is Henry Keenan. We are UATV English and English-speaking Ukrainian state media in constant persuasion to deliver hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. Rafael Mariano Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, will visit Kyiv on February 4th to hold a high-level meeting on preventing nuclear accidents during war. The agency serves, or at least should serve, as the nuclear safety watchdog for the United Nations. The agency has had a rotating mission at the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant since September 2022. This visit particularly marks Grossi's 11th mission to Ukraine since the launch of Russia's full-scale invasion, as the agency kindly informed us in its statement just yesterday.
As long as this horrific war continues, the IAEA will remain present and stay active, focused on doing everything we can to support nuclear safety and security in extremely challenging circumstances. As the overall situation is still precarious and fragile, our work there remains essential. Rafael Grossi, International Atomic Energy Agency Director General.
Essential. I'm not so sure about that, but ain't that sweet talking by Rafael Grossi anyway, right? Horrific war is not the full title, however. It is a horrific war for Russian aggression against the international rule of law. But when I listen to these words of Mr. Grossi, when I see him visiting ZMPP in his fine Italian suit and blue peacemaking flag jacket, I somehow tend to calm down. I come down and I forget that apart from talking and walking, Mr. Grossi and his agency just can't do anything about the terrorists that invaded Ukrainian nuclear power station. Russians plant mines all around the ZNPP, and the world is like, oh my God, this is bad, but the weather also gets bad sometimes, and then it improves one day all of a sudden, so let's just wait for that day. And meanwhile, we send Grossi there. He knows how to calm us down. And he does. And we all calm down and we all just forget the fact. Ukraine heavily relies on nuclear power for more than half of its energy production, which is increasingly in demand as Russians keep on pummeling Ukraine's energy infrastructure. While the Atomic Agency sends teams of experts to monitor ZNPP militarily occupied by Russians. And also, agency monitors other nuclear facilities, of course, in Ukraine amidst Russia's large-scale attacks on the country's power grid. In addition to the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, monitors are currently based at the Khmelnytsky, Rivne, South Ukraine, and Chernobyl nuclear plants. Here is the result of agency's work. I quote it for you. The agency has warned that military activity near the sites, particularly in Zaporizhzhia, increases the risk of nuclear disaster. Full stop. Wow. Thank you so very much, Agency Obvious. According to the agency's report on January 30th, a power line at the South Ukraine nuclear power plant was disconnected on January 29th due to, I quote again, unspecified military activity. Stop. But all is good. Grossi is coming soon to calm the nuclear power station and us as a society down a little bit. At the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the agency teams reported daily explosions, but no damage to the plant itself. Daily explosions on a nuclear power plant. But all is good. We all are okay. Not to worry. The station is fine. We're all fine. Just some explosions on a nuclear power plant. I mean, are we really hearing this kind of stuff? Rubbish and nonsense, that is what it is. All these reports and gibberish, all this smoothly curved language like unspecified military activity. Ain't that lovely? It seems to me that Mr. Grossi plays that old preset Microsoft Minesweeper game here, remember? Only in Ukraine, and with Ukrainian lives and Russian mines planted on the biggest nuclear power station in Europe, just by the way, which makes it the bomb. I hate to break it to you like that, but the agency in general, Mr. Grossi in particular, but that thing, these mines, is that it is not the question of if it explodes. It is only a question of when. And when it explodes right in the heart of Europe due to unspecified military activity, it is surely a relief to have someone as good-looking as Rafael Grossi informing us about a catastrophe in a perfectly crafted Italian-style anti-radiation suit. Ah, bellissimo. Ukrainian hackers, sorry for that, cyber specialists from Ukraine's military intelligence agency launched a cyber attack against Gazprom and Gazprom Neft on January 29th. Hromadske media reports about that, citing undisclosed sources from HOR. I hope the source remains undisclosed. The group carried out a distributed denial of service, which is DDoS, attack severely disrupting Gazprom's digital services. This operation was symbolically carried out on January 29th because it's the anniversary of the Battle of Kruty, where Ukrainian cadets and volunteers fought against the Bolshevik advance in 1918. As about 5,000 Bolshevik troops came to seize Kyiv, a young student battalion of about 500 students dug trenches near the city and courageously faced them in an equal fight. But today's troubles for Russian drivers all across Russia and customers of Gazprom servers is a message of sorts from our brothers of 1918, the heroes of the battle at Kruty, who over a century ago dealt a blow to the criminal Russian forces. Today, we continue the fight of those defenders of Kyiv, both on the front lines and in cyberspace, says Ukraine's military intelligence agency, HOR. The attack targeted critical online systems, and as a result, customers have been unable to access accounts, process fuel payments, or use other digital services of Gazprom since January 28th. Gazprom referred to the event, that incident, as a temporary technical glitch. Well, without offering any details or resolution timeline, actually they are right. That, I must admit, it is a glitch. It is technical, and it surely is temporary, just as all bad things in the world, right? Vladimir Putin very much included. Thibaut Tompa, head of the Hungarian community of Kyiv and Kyiv region. Hello, Mr. Tompa. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for your invitation.
All right, so let's go. First question, I'm anxious, actually, to get an answer for it. How big is the Hungarian community in Ukraine, after all?
Unfortunately, today only not more than 100 persons, according to last hour survey, but we have more than 100 persons before widen Russian aggression in Kyiv and Kyiv region.
All right. Well, anyway, I know that we knew that there are not much Hungarians in Ukrainian society now, but there are people, and they certainly have their opinion. So, what does Ukrainian Hungarian society, do you think of? That's right, Viktor Orban.
You know, unfortunately, Viktor Orban has made Hungarians ashamed, and he is a scoundrel, unfortunately. And he did a lot of bad things thanks to his attitudes, his actions. And unfortunately, Orban don't understand. He doesn't know what means to be Hungarians in Ukraine, and unfortunately, he is a Russian ally economically and ideologically. Orban now finance Russian aggressions, buying natural resources from Russia, and this
Right,
is
right.
maybe the only European country
Sure, yeah.
who support economically by financing Russian aggression in whole Europe.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Of course, I know the facts. But you said that Viktor Orban doesn't know something. I cannot agree with that. I think Viktor Orban knows exactly what he's doing, and he is acting in terms of his own wealth and money. So Viktor Orban is a populist and he's a nationalist and pro-Russian Hungarian leader who has a history of performatively threatening, but he performs like threatening to play his veto card. Veto, I'm going to veto this, I'm going to veto that, but then he steps back. Every time he steps back, and when European society is almost afraid, as it is actually, because of Viktor Orban's veto, he steps back. Why is that?
Very simple, because Viktor Orban's Kreml's Muppets. He
Right.
is more than 10 or 40, maybe 15 years Kreml's allies, and
Right.
he has a very close ties with Putin's, with Russians, but not only Orban, but all his government. Peter Sijarto, Minister of External
Right.
Affairs, visiting now also almost every time Russia, Moscow, and Belarus also. And by the way, Hungary is the only country heading by Orban who support last elections, anti-democratic election in Belarus.
Really?
Yeah.
So he said
really,
that. He said that he supports, but does that mean that Hungarian people are okay with that? They said, okay, Orban said, yeah, so maybe Belarusian is the properly elected president. I mean, my question is, Hungarian people can certainly protest if they are against Orban. Why is nothing happening there?
Yeah, it's also very simple answer, because, by the way, Orban is not only anti-democratic, with a neo-fascist, really neo-fascist, and unfortunately today a lot of young Hungarian people emigrating from Hungary because they don't have any proposals, any possibility to realize their gifts. And unfortunately, Orban has a very narrow-minded electoral, narrow-minded voters. First of all, people 60 and 65 plus, with 7 or 8 class, uneducated, and without young population in Hungary.
Okay. I take it that as an answer. I suppose that populists usually do not have too educated people as voters. But let's talk about just the last question for tonight. If I will make a statement and you agree or disagree, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If I say that Robert Fico induced Slovakia's energy crisis to benefit the Kremlin, would you agree with that?
Yes.
Right. So as simple as that. Yeah.
Because Fico same as Orban, but he has a little bit forces in Slovakia than Orban. And he would like to benefit. And by the way, all money from natural gas in Hungary directed to propaganda. All this money needs for propaganda to feed low educated people.
And it's working, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Really working. And by the way, Hungary has natural gas for charges for population 10 times more than Ukraine. But we have, unfortunately, today a very passive Hungary, which is broke into two parts: Budapest, big cities, and provincial part,
Right.
which Orban really undertake.
Of course. I mean, if there is a chance, somebody would just obliged to use it. So this time it's Viktor Orban. So let's hope the situation will change and Europe will be more decisive in terms of Viktor Orban's and other propagandistic pro-Kremlin leftovers. Let's call it that way. And I thank you so very much for your time and for shedding some lights about what is going on in Hungary, because at least for me now it's more or less clear. And I hope to talk to you very much soon. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Have a cold evening.
Thank you so very much. Stay safe. Goodbye. Well, that seems to be it for tonight. Thank you so very much for your precious time with us. My name is Henry Keane and we are UATV English, an English-speaking Ukrainian state media doing our best to deliver our truth in easy terms. For you, for the whole free world, directly from Ukraine. We ask you in return to like, share, and let us know how we're doing. Please comment. Your voice matters as it in turn helps Ukrainian voice to be heard globally. Well, stay safe and tune for more already in the weekly episode. Goodbye.